Hey YouTube, this is Scarecrow Kaiser. So, I'm going to do today my Dragonic Overlord the Cross Legion deck profile now that the Legend deck is out. Want to get this posted a few days sooner, but the work week began, and when you're being an adult and doing adulting, it is difficult to find time to do things sometimes, but I'm getting this up as soon as possible. So, I'm gonna get started with it. I've got to play. I've had one chance since the Legend deck came out last week, or not last week, the week before. Or was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. To actually play around with it in a tournament. It went fairly well. I didn't go undefeated, unfortunately. I actually lost because my opponent had a perfect guard every single time. I think there was like less than a handful of times of turns during the whole match that I didn't get like perfect guarded when I was at like grade 3 or higher. So but anyway, the deck ran pretty cool. It's a very good deck. Although I think it's being exaggerated in terms of how strong it is. I think it is definitely a good deck, but the hype that you're seeing in the community about how good it is, and if you know me, I am a really, really, really big Kagero fan. Dragonic Overlord is my favorite deck, and Kagero is my favorite clan. I've been playing it for a really long time. And to be honest, it is not as good as people make it out to be. It's pretty good. I just don't think it's as good as people are making it out to be. That said, whatever. So, to get into the profile now, my grade 3 lineup. So first we have R4, the Cross. I'm choosing to play 4 just to get it easier. I don't have to search it, it's that much better. And a discard fodder, Dragonic Overlord. And then to finish off my grade 3s, my secondary grade 3 is I just play 4 of the end. Now, you're not going to see a lot of people talking about this. Most people want to play like probably 3 of him and like 2 Legend and go with like the 9 grade 3 route. I don't like that. I don't like that, like, honestly at all. Honestly, I don't think the Legend needs to be in this build. If you're playing the Cross, I don't think you need the Legend. Now, you might be saying it's better to have a secondary grade 3 to ride, so you're not riding the end. I agree with that. In most of my decks, that's how I like to build my decks. I like to have to make a backup Vanguard ride in case I don't ride the one I want. However, in this deck, because of Conroe, you have a 50% chance of drawing into the Cross versus the X, and if you don't draw the Cross first, but you also draw a Conroe, you can just go grab the X. So that's how I like to do it. I like having the more bullets. That's what Dragonic Overlord essentially is in this deck, is he's a bullet. I like having more ammo. For my grade 2 lineup, first we got R4 Nahalims. Nahalim is a super cool card. He's not in other builds that focus more on stride. He's a little bit better, but he's still in 11k once you hit GB1, if nothing else. And then once you do go into your grade 4s, he's beefy. He's definitely one of the best cards that come out of the Legend deck. Absolutely the best grade 2. Yeah. Next, we got 3 Burning Horn. Just another beat stick, 12k, easy to make good columns behind him. And then my last grade 2 is I play 4 Dragonic Burnout. Dragonic Burnout is my favorite grade 2 in the game. The reason I'm choosing to play 4 of him and 3 Burning Horn isn't necessarily about like preference of like I just think this card's cooler. Actually, 7 beat 6 sounds fine to me. In Dragonic Burnout, although you don't need to use him that often, you don't use him super heavily, he's really, really fantastic early game, and it's really easy to set up for him early game with Conroe. So that's why I like playing him. Basically, that explains this ratio. I like this early game, and I like being able to draw it. Less likely to draw if I don't play it at max. For the grade 1 count, we got 4 Protect Orbs or Damage Unflipper, so that counterblasts a lot. Even with Conroe still, it's still very helpful to have something unflip damage. And he's a Flame Dragon. And then we have Conroe, 4 of him. If you're playing Dragonic Overlord, you should play this card at 4 always. Don't even hesitate. If you're playing Dragonic Overlord, play 4 of these. I see people who suggest like 3 or 2. Like, that's absolutely insane. This is probably, to be honest with you, the best card that came out of that Legend deck. The massive unflipping, the searchability, like, this is probably the best card that came out of that deck. If not, like, it's at least one of the best, if not the best. Yeah, it's very, very, very good. And like I gotta talk so much about this card actually because of how good it is. So with the way the deck plays now, you're not trying to do so much of a Legion loop, but Conroe sets up for like the amazing like strength play of the deck, which is you're on the Legend and you Legion and you grab like your Dragonic Overlord at the end, and then you could go use your starter, grab another end or cross if you want, and you can play like a Conroe and you can go grab another end or a cross that you need. Just load up your hand with all this ammo, and then you retire your Conroe and you have your Legion swing at their rear guard. If they're playing a damage and flipping perfect guard or such, they're not going to have an easy time guarding it, and if they can't guard it, so your attack hits, you Persona Blast, restand, swing again, unflip 2, if it hits again, discard, counterblast 2, stand up, swing, unflip that damage. So that's the strength play of the deck. If your opponent can't stop it, you are going to rape them by doing multiple attacks, and for like essentially no cost each time. So my following grade 1 lineup, this is where it starts to get a little more iffy and debatable for the lineup, but I'm playing 4 Lava Flows. He's a Flame Dragon, he's a 7k, and he lets you stride. That's mostly the striding part is why I've been playing him. I don't know that I will. Like, it's not necessarily required that you need more stride fodder, but I've been doing it. I like using it so I can keep the grade 3s in my hand, which are my bullets for my Legion and my costs for the Ace. And then my last grade 1 is I play 2 Tar. Now, Tar, I am not that big of a fan of Tar. He's an okay card. The reasons I do play him is he's got good power, and his cost, the Soul Blast part, is actually helpful. This deck doesn't have as much soul as it used to be. You're not trying to do the Legion loop, that's why we're not playing Calamity Tower. The soul is more limited, but with his cost of a Soul Blast, it helps. Sometimes that 1 Soul Blast is what you need to have enough cards to do your Legion, so yeah. His effect is very rarely useful, the searching effect. There's usually, you've pulled all your grade 3s out of your deck. It's more so the +4, and it's not so much to give it to a rear guard, although if you give it to Burning Horn, it makes him a 16. So you could put him behind like a Burnout, give that +4 to Burning Horn. Burning Horn's now a 16 column, but mostly I put it on my Vanguard, because once you're in Legion, you're a Legion of 22, so if you give it the +4, it is now a 26. So even without the boost, you're still at a good number to be swinging at 11Ks, so yeah. For my starter, I'm using Undux. It's a good card. It's a 5k. It searches an Overlord. It's very helpful in this deck. My trigger lineup is 7 Flame Dragon crits, then 4 Gatling Claw, and 1 Seal Dragon draw for a total of 5 Flame Dragon draws. Yep. I like the balance of crit versus draw in this deck. I feel like it's perfect there at 7-5, and then 4 Flame Dragon heals. Especially the fact that it's a Flame Dragon is going to matter a lot more once the G Guardians come out soon. I'd like to play the Pretty Lady heal triggers and hollows and stuff, but I feel like it's just better to have Flame Dragons. Not that it matters since I'm not really running like the Legend in this build, but like they're just there. I'm not running him, but once my opponent sees it, they might think it, and I don't know. It doesn't really matter in this build because you're not playing the Legend, but for the G units, to start, I run 1 Vortex. You really only need the 1. It's usually my first stride. My second grade 4 is I play 1 Mustafa. He can flip anything, and I'm not playing more than 1 of them, although you can. You can actually do it where if you want, you could play 1 of him, then run like 3 of him, use his effect to flip over 1 of these. So then when you bring out Mustafa later on, you'll have him flip over that, and then that means you've killed 1 card and you choose 2 guys and give them the unflip effect. You can do that, I'm just not. I very rarely use Mustafa, honestly, but I have him just a 1 of, in case I do want to bring out and snipe a specific card. I won't get the damage on flip, but at least I killed a card. Then I play 2 Novels. Very, very strong card. I don't feel the need to play more than 2 of it though. I usually just bring it out when like I need to try and finish the game, and it's a very strong card. I could see an argument for playing more than 2, but I just don't because I feel like there's a little bit better options. My last grade 4 is I'm playing 4 of the Ace. This deck, with the way it works and all the grade 3s it gathers up and stuff, the Ace is a lot more viable in this deck, and with the damage and flipping of Conroe. So that is it for this deck profile. I will get out some more soon. Thank you for watching.